I'm going to talk today about my passion developing the rule of law in former communist countries and other emerging democracies. I'll take you on a journey funded primarily by USAID, during which I witnessed the absence of the rule of law and its consequences firsthand. My goal is to demonstrate through my work abroad that the preservation of our democracy is paramount for all Americans, regardless of political belief. These days, everyone hears the phrase rule of law, but few truly understand it. And yet a clear understanding of the rule of law is essential in order to grasp its growing vulnerability in many countries today, including ours. According to the ABA, the rule of law is a set of principles for ensuring an orderly and just society where no one is above the law, everyone is treated equally under the law, and everyone is held accountable to the same laws. There are clear and fair processes for enforcing laws. There is an independent judiciary, and human rights are guaranteed for all. In every country where I worked, the rule of law was susceptible to manipulation because of the absence of strong institutions and the absence of accountable leadership. Laws were applied unequally. Ordinary citizens were punished while powerful figures evaded prosecution in all of the countries I worked. What was worse? It's that the perpetrators of any type of criminal offense knew their chances of prosecution were slim. And even when offenders were prosecuted, the judiciary, meant to uphold the rule of law, was often compromised. Now, as we all know, a judge should be guided solely by the facts of the case and the applicable law, free from external and improper pressures, whether the influences were external or from within the justice system itself. In the United States, we often equate judicial corruption with bribery. But through conversations with numerous judges, I learned firsthand how judges abroad and their decisions could be distorted by favoritism, safety concerns, political pressure, or career incentives. Corruption in the judiciary is not always visible. It can be quiet and insidious. For instance, judges abroad were often pressured to issue improper rulings out of fear for their own safety. Under communism, the separation of powers among the three branches of government did not exist, and the law was not supreme. When I began working abroad in the early 90s, even under such circumstances, my American colleagues and I were able to make a tangible impact on the development of the rule of law and an independent judiciary, largely because our voices as Americans were respected and heard. The United States was seen as the shining city on the hill, popularized by President Reagan, for we were the gold standard for the rule of law and judicial independence. Americans today cannot take our rule of law or an independent judiciary for granted, as I did 30 years ago. At that time, the rule of law in the U.S. was so pervasive that it felt like the air we were breathing. Today, public approval of the U.S. Supreme Court is nearing a historical low. This public perception has placed our justice system today in a downward spiral that threatens the very foundation of our democracy. American judges have faced physical threats designed to intimidate them. In recent years, Some federal judges received unordered pizzas accompanied by menacing messages that the sender knew where they and their children lived. More tragically, in 2020, a disgruntled lawyer, as I'm sure most of you remember, murdered the son of federal Judge Solis while posing as a delivery driver. Such threats aimed to pressure judges can distort justice, undermining both judicial integrity and the rule of law. Protecting the rule of law is an active, ongoing responsibility, not a passive expectation that we once assumed. And why I'm here today, ironically, is doing exactly what we American attorneys once advised citizens of former communist countries over the past 30 years to do. Engage with your communities, speak with local organizations, write opinion pieces explaining why the rule of law and an independent judiciary are essential to our democracy, especially in today's toxic political environment. I believe it is crucial that, that all Americans, not just lawyers, understand the deeper meaning of the rule of law and an independent judiciary. Though these principles are not named directly in the Constitution, they are derived from it, and we hold them sacred. They serve to protect every individual in the United States. Today, perhaps more than ever, these two principles can serve as a unifying force for a nation severely polarized by political ideology. They have the power to bring us together, no matter our religious beliefs or our political views, because our most fundamental rights, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press, equal protection, due process, are safeguarded by the rule of law and an independent judiciary. And I hope you leave here today recognizing that preserving our democracy, the rule of law, and the independence of our judiciary matters more than any political differences that divide us.